The sky has always been ruled by money. For decades, air dominance belonged to those who could afford it, those who could write billion-dollar checks, those who could wait years for delivery slots, spare parts, political approvals, and quiet permissions whispered behind closed diplomatic doors. The world learned to accept that reality. If you were wealthy, you flew fifth-generation dreams. If you were not, you made do with leftovers. But somewhere in that accepted order, something slipped through unnoticed. No dramatic rollout, no Hollywood unveiling, no endless Western headlines, just a quiet aircraft climbing into the sky and rewriting the rules while the world was distracted. In the ever-shifting skies of global air power, few aircraft have made as much noise with as little fanfare as the JF-17 Thunder Block III. It is a fighter jet that did not arrive screaming for attention. It arrived changing outcomes. Quietly, decisively, permanently. It didn't just enter service, it entered the conversation and forced every Air Force, analyst, and defense planner to ask an uncomfortable question. What if modern air combat no longer belongs exclusively to the richest nations on Earth? Developed jointly by Pakistan and China, the JF-17 Thunder Block III is not merely another upgrade in a familiar lineage. It is a statement, a declaration, a challenge thrown directly at decades of Western monopoly over advanced air power. It says something radical in a world addicted to cost escalation, that cutting-edge capability does not have to come with a Western price tag, Western political strings, or Western approval stamps. The JF-17 Block II, and especially Block III, stands firmly as a 4.5 generation fighter built not for air show applause, but for the brutal realities of 21st century conflict. Efficient, modern, accessible, and most dangerously of all, scalable. The story of this aircraft does not begin with luxury or ambition alone. It begins with necessity. When Pakistan realized that dependence on aging Mirage 3 fleets, obsolete F-7s, and a limited, politically constrained F-16 inventory was unsustainable, the reality hit hard. Airspace cannot be defended with nostalgia. Sovereignty cannot rely on spare parts that require foreign permission. Pakistan needed something different, a platform that could be produced locally, maintained domestically, upgraded independently, and deployed in numbers large enough to actually matter when deterrence is tested. That ambition crystallized in the early 2000s through collaboration with China's Chengdu Daecraft Corporation, giving birth to the original JF-17 Thunder. The early blocks proved a concept. Block 3 perfected it. This was not refinement, this was transformation. Block 3 did not just improve the JF-17, it reinvented it. It took a lightweight multi-role fighter and injected it with technologies once reserved for jets costing 3 to 4 times as much. At the heart of this transformation lies a single component that changed everything. The NANI NG KJ-7A Active Electronically Scanned Array, or AESA radar. This radar is not a spec sheet upgrade, it is a combat revolution. It extends detection ranges, accelerates target tracking, and allows simultaneous engagement of multiple threats across air and ground domains. In modern air combat, seeing first often means winning first, and the AESA radar gives the Block 3 that advantage. Paired with a digital fly-by-wire flight control system, a new avionics architecture, and a glass cockpit dominated by a wide-angle holographic head-up display, the Block 3 begins to blur generational lines. It stands at the crossroads between fourth-generation fighters and the sensor fusion philosophy of stealth-era aircraft. The introduction of a helmet-mounted display and sight system pushes that boundary even further, allowing pilots to lock onto targets simply by looking at them, a capability once exclusive to elite platforms like the Rafale, Gripen E, or F-16 Viper. This is not imitation, this is parity, delivered at a fraction of the cost. Yet technology alone does not explain why the JF-17 Block 3 is being watched so closely. Its true power lies in its philosophy: smart capability at a sustainable cost. For decades, smaller air forces were trapped in an impossible dilemma: buy a handful of elite aircraft and drown under maintenance costs, or operate outdated fighters that would be erased in modern combat. The Block 3 shattered that dilemma completely. It offers supersonic performance, beyond visual range engagement capability, electronic warfare integration, and precision strike capacity, all without bankrupting the operator. It doesn't just fill gaps, it levels playing fields. It is not merely a fighter jet, it is a strategic equalizer. Operationally, Pakistan's own Air Force has embraced the Block 3 as the backbone of its modern fleet. These new generation Thunders are not lone hunters, they are nodes in a network. Advanced data link systems connect them seamlessly with airborne early warning aircraft and ground-based radar stations, creating a connected combat web where information flows faster than missiles. Compatibility with a wide array of Chinese precision-guided munitions, including the PL-15 long-range air-to-air missile, elevates the aircraft from lightweight multi-role to serious first-strike contender. Some analysts argue the PL-15 rivals or exceeds the AMRAAM C-5 in range and guidance sophistication. Armed with it, the JF-17 Block 3 is not chasing fights, it is dictating them. The cockpit itself reflects a deeper understanding of modern warfare: redesigned layouts, pilot-centric ergonomics, reduced workload, enhanced situational awareness, everything optimized for survival and lethality in high-stress environments. Its open architecture avionics are perhaps its most underrated advantage. Future sensors, software, and weapons can be integrated without tearing the aircraft apart. This is future-proofing rarely seen at this price point. Pakistani engineers, working alongside Chinese specialists, ensured that adaptability was not an afterthought, but a core design principle. The result is an aircraft built not just for today, but for the next 2 decades. So why is the world suddenly paying attention? Because timing matters, and the timing could not be more perfect. The global fighter market has changed dramatically over the past decade. Western aircraft prices have exploded beyond reach. An F-35A Lightning II now costs upward of $82 million per unit. Even upgraded fourth-generation fighters like the F-16 Block 70 or Rafale F-4F regularly exceed $60 to $90 million before maintenance, spares, and political conditions are even considered. For many nations, those numbers are not strategic investments, they are dead ends. By contrast, the JF-17 Block 2 and Block 3 sit in the $25 to $32 million range, depending on configuration. That price does not represent compromise, it represents efficiency. It delivers a radar, weapons suite, and performance package capable of deterring and, in some scenarios, defeating far more expensive adversaries. Real-world operations by Myanmar and Nigeria have already demonstrated its combat readiness. Pakistan's continuous modernization ensures spare part stability. China's industrial base guarantees scalability. Together, they form a rare combination: manufacturing muscle paired with real operational experience. Today, 3 nations actively operate the JF-17: Pakistan, Myanmar, and Nigeria, with Azerbaijan becoming the first to officially purchase the advanced Block 3 variant. That deal was not just a sale, it was a signal that Pakistan had matured into a legitimate arms exporter, a signal that the JF-17 Block 3 had crossed from regional curiosity into international credibility. And interest continues to grow. Iraq, Malaysia, Argentina, Egypt, Bangladesh, and several African nations are watching closely, not just because of cost, but because of independence. Buying a JF-17 Block 3 means stepping outside Western export controls, sanctions, and political leverage. It means aircraft availability that cannot be frozen overnight by diplomatic disagreements. In a world where fleets have been grounded by politics rather than enemy action, that independence is priceless. Add to that the aircraft maintenance simplicity, rapid turnaround times, minimal ground crew requirements, and combat-ready performance, Mach 1.6 top speed, 50,000-foot service ceiling, and a combat radius exceeding 1,200 kilometers, and the picture becomes clear. Globally, analysts increasingly describe the JF-17 Block 3 as one of the smartest programs in modern defense economics, roughly 80% of elite performance at roughly 30% of the cost. That ratio is disruptive. It democratizes air power, it redistributes deterrence, and it does so quietly, without spectacle, without noise. Just results. In a world obsessed with flash, the JF-17